Hello everyone and welcome back to Learn with Loli. Today we're going to be talking about test taking. I have taken so many tests in my life. Yes, elementary, middle school, high school, but also college, graduate school, and extra graduate school. And I finally found a technique that works. This is not a schedule for cramming. This is a schedule that depends on you having done the work beforehand, and this is just a systematic way to review the material that you already should be familiar with. Like I said, we're going to start 3 weeks before your test, and there's only 3 things that you need to do at this point, but they have to be done. The first thing is that you need to make a study schedule that you can keep consistently. So if you say, okay, I'm going to study for this particular test, for this particular class, 45 minutes on the weekday, and then an hour on Saturday and Sunday, then that's the schedule that you have to keep for the next 3 weeks. You have to come up with something that is consistent and reliable. If you can only give this test and studying for it 30 minutes every day, 25 minutes every day, then it's better to do that than to wait until the last minute and to try to cram all the material the night before or 2 days before, because your brain won't be able to hold on to it. Your brain will still be processing it and synthesizing it and trying to figure out what's going on. So make sure that you create a study schedule that is consistent. The next thing that you need to do 3 weeks before your test, while you're sitting down and starting to get ready to study, is to make a checklist of everything you need to study. So if it's chapters 1 through 5, then that's what's on your checklist. Studying chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then notes and slideshows. And if your teacher had supplemental material like extra articles that you could print out, then you add those too. You want to be able to look at everything at once, kind of like an overview, so that you know what's coming next. You know what you have to do next. This is also useful because if you're anything like me, and I'm pretty sure like most people, we would rather study the things that we're good at. We like to do the things that come naturally to us or are easy for us, and things that we're not so good at or not so familiar with are a lot harder. So in order to avoid that, say you're really good at chapters 1 and 2 and you're not so great at chapters 3, 4, and 5, that's why you write down everything that you need to know, so you can make sure that your efforts are evenly distributed. The last thing that you need to do 3 weeks before your test is to organize your notes, your study materials, your textbooks. Make sure that you have everything that you need to study, because otherwise your brain will come up with an excuse. Oh, my printer's not working. Oh, I don't have enough space on my Google Drive to download this slideshow, etc. You don't want to give yourself any wiggle room, because you will take advantage of it. Most of us would. So in order to avoid making excuses in the future, you want to make sure that you have everything that you need to study for your test right there in front of you. Now it's 2 weeks before your test and you have been doing everything according to plan. You made your study schedule, you stuck to it, you gathered your materials together, you made a checklist of everything that you needed to go over so that you can make sure that you're doing it in an even distribution, right? So now it's time to schedule a study session with a classmate or tutor, somebody who's familiar with the material that you can ask questions to, that you can debate the answers with, that can help you get a better grasp of what you're trying to understand. So another really important thing to do 2 weeks before your test is to make study guides of each chapter or each section that you're working on. I prefer to make my study guides 1-pagers. So if I'm dealing with the example that I used earlier of studying 5 chapters, I would have 1 page for each chapter. Not double-sided, just literally 1 page for each chapter, because this is going to force you to condense the information, to synthesize it. So that means you're extracting the really important ideas from whatever you're studying and you're putting it together. This is helpful because it helps you connect ideas that you may not have connected before. It helps you look at everything that you have studied. You can lay out all of your study guides and kind of just go over them and see where the ideas connect to one another. Lastly, 2 weeks before your test, you need to make a word bank of all the vocabulary that's been used in the chapters or in the sections that you've been studying. No matter what subject it is, there's going to be terminology that is used that you may not be familiar with. That's why it's important that you not only make sure you have a grasp of the definitions, but you also begin using them. That way, when you see them on the test, you're not taken aback, you're not shocked. It's nothing that you haven't seen before. In fact, it's something that you're familiar with and you immediately know what the test is referring to. 1 week before the test, you're still on top of it. Okay, you have been sticking to your study schedule. You already met with your classmate or with your tutor. You have gone through the material systematically. You have followed all of the steps. You created your study guide. Now it's important that you write down any lingering questions that you have. After that, you're going to seek the answers. So whether it's something that your teacher said that you need to ask them for clarification about, or a definition that you weren't quite clear on that you might need to go to YouTube for, or look through journal archives or articles to find the answer to, now is the time to make sure that you have a grasp on all aspects of the material, especially the things that you had questions about. Another really great tip that I love to do 1 week before the test is to teach somebody else. This isn't like when you met with a classmate or a tutor. This teaching should be to someone who's not quite familiar with the material, because their level of understanding after you teach them will be able to let you know how well you understood the material and could convey it to them. So it could be a sibling, a parent, a cousin, a friend. It could be over Zoom. It could be in person. It doesn't really matter. You just want to be able to explain what it is that you've learned in a way that somebody else can understand. The last thing you need to do the night before your test is quiz yourself. It can be old-fashioned, you can use flashcards, you can use Quizlet, you can use a different app, but the point is that you want to practice retrieving the information that you have been studying in a kind of timed setting, because you want to make sure that that time crunch won't come back to bite you later and that you can recall the information under pressure. The last night before the test, and this is the most important tip, this is the one that I always do most often, is to relax. Get exercise, have a healthy dinner, go to bed early. Just make sure that your mind, your body, that you're ready to test mentally. You don't want to cram. You don't want to study the night before, because during this process, your brain has been putting all the information that you have been studying from working memory, which is temporary, into long-term memory, which is long-term. So you want to make sure that you give your mind enough time to complete that process. If you disrupt it by trying to study something new or review other things, your mind is going to drop the stuff that it's been trying to put into long-term memory to try to put the new stuff into working memory. And that's why cramming rarely works. So the night before your test, watch your favorite TV show, take a bubble bath, chill out, don't even look at notes in the morning. Because when you sit down and take your test, all of the hard work that you've been putting in for the past 3 weeks is going to show up. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments for different testing tips that I should try out or that you suggest other people do, please leave them below, because I am always looking for new testing tips. I still have finals week. I am still in school. This is an active work in progress, so I would really appreciate it. If you're interested in working with me one-on-one, please go to my website, learnwithlowly.com, and you can sign up for a free 30-minute consultation session. Subscribe, like, comment, and share the videos that have helped you the most, and I will see you next time.